Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. It's been a minute since I last posted, so today I'll be reviewing my top 10 right wingers this season. Here we go. All right, so tied at number 10, I got Madueke and Pulisic. I think that they had some very sound campaigns this season. They're very prolific in front of goals. They banged in a couple of goals. They had a couple good moments in the Champions League and in their respective leagues. I think it was a success, and both got called up for their national teams. And I think they have an opportunity to go higher in my power rankings. Madueke had a solid season as a rotation player. He wasn't the first option, as we already know. Saka is the first option at right wing at Arsenal, and Madueke done a good job with his 2,000 minutes, getting a couple goals. He got 8 goals. He got to the Champions League finals and had a solid impact for his squad. Christian Pulisic had a nice campaign in Serie A. He was second top scorer in his team, right behind Rafael Leao. He banged in 10 goals in all comps, 4 assists. He didn't get as much minutes as other seasons. He had a solid campaign, a good showing. He was one of the bright sides of this struggling Milan side. But going forward, Milan and the US men's national team have a lot of expectations for him. So hopefully he'll be able to step up for his national team and bang in a couple goals at the World Cup and some great solid performances in front of his home fans. So here's Pedro Neto. I have him at number 9. He was a solid player. He was kind of in the rotation at Chelsea. He was one of the starters, but he wasn't an undisputed starter, but he always had a solid impact in transition off the bench. He generated a lot of offenses, and I found his play to be very positive and something that he could build on during the World Cup, and hopefully this momentum goes into next season. As you can see, Neto netted 10 times, had 10 goals and 10 assists. He hit double digits in both major statistical categories for forwards. He had 3,700 minutes, almost 4,000 minutes. Those are a lot of minutes in his legs. That means he was really used well when they had Maresca, and then with Rashiner, like he also was used. He was probably one of the better players at Chelsea this season. And I feel like with Portugal, he'll be one of the important players that could try and help Ronaldo win his first World Cup. At number 8, I have Mo Salah. Mo Salah, as we know, left mid-season to go and play the Africa Cup of Nations, which unfortunately he didn't win. But although his season this year with Liverpool was not as efficient or as prolific as the season prior, he did stand out and have an above average season, a respectable season for his last campaign at the club. And just in terms of how dangerous of a player and how much of a threat Mo Salah is, I had to consider him to and put him in the top 10 right wingers in the world at the moment. And also, he has a chance to do something very special with Egypt this summer. Hopefully, he can go as far as he can in the competition, and we wish him the best of luck at his new club after the season. He had a solid season, 12 goals, 10 assists. In terms of a winger, he's right there with all the other wingers. A very solid season, not to most standards, but to the average and to some of the most elite forwards in the top 5 leagues. And that's what I tried to take into account, that Mo Salah is still doing this in the Prem at the age of, I think, 32, 33, and it's something that Not a lot of footballers have the privilege of saying so. Mo Salah is still included in the elite of world forwards, and like we look at the numbers, like he's efficient every 263 minutes. He bags, he either scores or assists, which is a pretty decent ratio. He played 3,000 minutes, although Slot kind of started to prepare for the next seasons, but Slot got sacked, and now Mo is in a situation where he already declared he was going to leave the club, and we don't really know what would happen. Maybe if there's a way for him to backtrack and stay at Liverpool, that would be amazing for all the fans. But I think it's also a beautiful way to end a chapter and for him to move on to something new. At number 7, I have Iliman Diaye from Senegal. So Iliman Diaye, or Skilliman Diaye, however you call him, this Everton winger is one of the coldest ballers in the Premier League. Unfortunately, his side, I don't think they made Champions League, but I think after the World Cup, one of the big dogs will be calling for him. I think he'll be one of the sensations of the tournament. He's a very skilled player, very good on the ball, very aware, tactically aware. He knows how to get into the pocket of space behind the striker. He knows how to feed. I think that his assist numbers could go up if he joined a club like a Manchester City. He's a very creative player. Uh, he needs to maybe try and find ways to be a bit more decisive, but he passes the eye test, and he is a regular starter for his club. So in the future, I'd like to see that at post World Cup that Iliman probably wins. I don't know, most assists in the tournament. Maybe a Senegal goes and takes the World Cup, but personally, I I'm cheering for him. I'm being very positive. I think that he could be one of the players that impacts this tournament, and I think if I were to place bets, I'd place bets on this guy to do well at the tournament. So at number 6, I got star boy Bukayo Saka. So Bukayo Saka was out injured most of the season, and even when he came back, he still hadn't made a full recovery. But he's so important to Arsenal and to England. He made England squad even though he wasn't necessarily fully fit, but he made it over the likes of amazing players like Phil Foden and others, and even Cole Palmer. But Bukayo Saka, what he does is not necessarily just on the ball. His work rate, his tactical awareness, his selflessness for his teammates is one of the things that I appreciate from this player, and I understand why people wouldn't get why I would put him as the sixth best right winger in the world, but you'd have to actually play the game and be a frequent watcher of football to understand his net value, his net plus to his team and to his fans, and why the fans of Arsenal and the fans of football love Bukayo Saka. Although sometimes we troll him and we mock his play style, but in terms of impact, in terms of efficiency, I think that he might be top three most efficient footballers, most efficient wingers in the world. And this is why I have him at number 6. So even in a season where Bukayo Saka was mostly injured, he still found a way to play 3,256 minutes and being efficient and being decisive every 296 minutes, which is similar to Mo Salah's ratio. And he was doing so while being injured all season. He became a Premier League champion for the first time. He got to Champions League finals. He scored a decisive goal in the semifinals. This really goes to show that Saka is not only a decisive player, but he's someone who is ready to die for the team, to work for the team, and he puts himself in these conversations in terms of longevity where in a couple years we would be looking at Saka a very different way if his output goes a bit higher. So with 11 goals and 9 assists, I think that it's a fair spot to put Saka, and I really hope that he gets back to his best level, and hopefully I don't think he'd be able to show his best level at the World Cup, but hopefully next season he gets fit and gets ready to show everyone why Arsenal fans call him Starboy and why he is one of the best wingers in world football. At number 5, I have Desire Doué. At only 20 years of age, soon 21, he's won 2 Champions Leagues. He scored twice in the finals last year. This finals, he was one of the players that Luis Enrique let play most of the time. He didn't stop pressing. He didn't stop working on the ball, off the ball. He's one of the most versatile players, playing as a 10, playing as a second striker, playing as a left wing, right wing, whatever you ask him to do, Desire Doué knows how to do. And this is why I have him at number 5. He's one of the most technically sound players. He reminds me of a Neymar, although he's a bit more robotic, a bit more explosive, but he's a very technical player, a very sound player, and I think he's going to do a lot of damage to teams in this World Cup if he's able to stay fit. He's a lad that looks after himself. You always see him in the recovering. You always see him training, having extra sessions. Like he's worked on his body. He looks in shape, and I think I'd actually put him higher in a couple of years. Like in a couple of years, I can see him, if his output goes up, I can see him becoming the best right winger in the world. And he's basically like both footed. Like he's such a special player. With 13 goals and 11 assists in 41 matches, Desire Doué is one of the most decisive players in Europe. He's decisive every 197 minutes, under 200 minutes every time he steps on the pitch. He gets a decisive action. This is not only this is only in terms of GA, in terms of goals and assists, but as we know, like when you watch the eye test, Desire Doué passes the eye test and is very efficient and is very important to his team and effective in other statistical categories, but today I'm focusing more on GAs. And he's played 200 and 500, 200 500 minutes. No, 2000, I mean 2500 minutes, and was one of the key players to this PSG back to back. And I feel like with more maturity, with more stats, with him possibly taking a bigger role for France and for PSG in the following couple of seasons, we'll be speaking of him in a very different light. He's a very focused footballer. He's not in the distractions. I really respect his work ethic and the way he approaches the game, and I think that this could be the World Cup where he kind of separates himself from the pack and tries to come for that number one right winger spot in the world. At number 4, I have Lamine Yamal. At number 4, I have Lamine Yamal. Lamine Yamal has been probably one of Barcelona's best players this season, if not Barcelona's best player. He was one of Barcelona's most available forwards. He stayed fit. He was decisive. He stepped up in big moments. He got he got to shoot a couple of penalties against Newcastle in crucial moments of the season. Even in La Liga, he was a pivotal part in them clinching the league again. And this is a very young footballer. We want to be fair with him. We don't want to put too much pressure on him. He passes the eye test. He passes the statistical test. He's one of the best players in the world right now, and one of the players that I feel like are going to make a big impact at the World Cup. And I want to get more into why I put him at number 4. I don't know how old this guy is, but he's been dropping some prime Neymar numbers. 24 goals, 18 assists, and he's been decisive every 155 minutes. He's done this in 3,000, almost 4,000 minutes, like, which shows how available he was, and showed how like efficient and he was throughout the whole season. I think that in a regular year, I'd probably have him much higher, and especially he's gonna go higher with the World Cup. He's probably gonna finish in that third or second spot, uh, unless he's able to win it. If he wins it, he'll have to be the number one right winger in the world. And I feel like he has a strong case to be in the top two, in the top three, but I have him at number 4 because they weren't able to go past Atletico and to make and he wasn't in my opinion, he wasn't able to make a meaningful impact in that Champions League knockout game, which might kind of be unfair, but when you're a player with this much hype, people expect you to deliver in those type of moments, and I feel like the next step for him would be for him to deliver for Barcelona and in the Champions League, and also hopefully he could deliver something for Spain. So best of luck to this baller at the World Cup, and hopefully he gets to achieve his dreams. So at number 3, I have Mason Greenwood. This is probably a shocker to most people, and I purposefully put him number 3 because I watch his season and I know his season is being ignored because of antics outside of football that happened a couple years ago. But when you look at the numbers, you realize that Mason has been one of the most efficient right winger forwards. Sometimes he's been playing in the 9 position this season, and I feel like his season is not talked about enough, and he was underrated. He was very impactful on the ball, off the ball. He passes the eye test. He's one of the best finishers in the world, and I want to talk a bit more about Mason Greenwood. Here we go. So as you can see, league by league, League 1 to La Liga, I could compare him to Lamine. They both have 16 goals in the league. Lamine a bit more assists, but that's really due to the quality of teammates that he has, like, with him. But Mason has been leading the line for this Marseille squad that's been average, a bit sub-average. They've been underperforming, but Mason has been one of the brighter sides to Marseille, and he's been efficient. 26 goals in all comps and 11 assists. Like, this is a season that's not talked about enough. He should have been in this England squad. He should have made the team. He should have been at the World Cup. We don't know why he's not at the World Cup. He's one of the best players in the world right now. He's been decisive at like every 138 minutes, which is one of the best ratios out there available. Surely a top club should come for him. I don't know how he is as a person in a squad, but if I were Real Madrid or if I were a club that is struggling with a left-footed player, because everyone knows Olise is not leaving his club, but I would probably be trying to get Mason Greenwood. He's one of the most efficient players, one of the best, and one of the most the most clinical players in front of goals. He scores in a diverse in different ways. He's capable of playing in the nine position. He's capable of playing out wide, and he excels as a forward at a very high level. Unfortunately, he didn't make the England squad. But if you followed and you tuned in throughout the whole season and you watch Marseille and you even if you hadn't and you try and go back and watch some of the goals and the assists and just his link up play, you'd realize that the machine hasn't been working for him, and he should probably be trying to make a move this summer into a better situation because he's a great baller and he shouldn't be wasting his potential. So at number two, this might be another surprise. How could we have forgotten Dembele is a right winger? Although he's been playing like striker a couple times, Dembele at his core is a right winger, and he's a lot of his actions. Like if you don't look at the at where he started at the beginning of the at the game, right? Don't look at the lineup. Look at his heat map. Look at where he's at when he's playing. Often he drifts out wide to his right side, and that's where for me he probably scored arguably one of the Puskas worthy award goals. He scored one there, and he also scored one kind of in that number 10 position. And what can I say? Like he's a Ballon d'Or, probably the best player in the world. Like he could probably be number one. He passes the eye test. In terms of eye test, I don't think there's a another player in his position or even just another player right now that's been that's passed the eye test as often, like when he's under the microscope. And I feel like Dembele has reached a new level where now it's about imposing his rule on the world with the French national team and having a solid World Cup, and almost surely he might go and win a Ballon d'Or back to back. He's a back to back champion in the in Liga, back to back champion in what's it called, in the Champions League, and now he gets to go and win possibly his second World Cup. And like after this World Cup, people might have to change the conversations around this guy. He's entering some new sort of territory. You have to put him along the legs of players like Thierry Henry, Zidane, Platini. This is another level. He's starting to grow into his own. This is his prime. I don't know how long we'll have him playing and excelling at this level, but I'm happy to witness greatness. So these are just insane numbers, right? You have to take it into context. He played 40 games, but only 2,200 minutes. He was injured most of the season. Like, this is one thing with Usman that I like and don't like is that he picks and chooses his moments, right? The first half of the season, he's kind of out for the whole season. Second half of the season, he comes back and he's banging goals, assists, being decisive, taking back that role of first option. And like like when you look at the numbers, 20 goals, 11 assists, these are some of the best numbers in terms of the minutes he played, the goal to minutes, the goal to game ratio, the assists to minutes ratio, the goal contribution ratio, and also just the eye test when you watch him play and you look at his at the eye test, you look at the stats, you look at the numbers, you look at the pressing, the commitment to his team, and you just have to accept that when you look at the bigger picture overall, Dembele hasn't dropped. Like you just look at it and he hasn't dropped off from last year. Last year he did score I think 35 or some goals, but when you're weighing it all, you just have to accept that like he might just go back to back in terms of Ballon d'Or. He might snatch it from Kvara or from Vitinha if France goes on to win this World Cup. So hopefully we wish him well. We wish that he stays healthy. We wish that he gets to make us happy at the World Cup. We wish that he goes and achieves his dream and good luck to this baller during the World Cup. Michael Olise. This is not a surprise to anyone. And if you thought someone else should have been number one, I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. You're wrong. Michael Olise is the best right winger, and he's possibly the best winger. Actually, I'd say he's the best. He's the best winger right now because there's a left winger drought, and Michael Olise is just the best winger in the world right now. There's no discussion for it. His performance against Real Madrid in the Champions League quarterfinals just demonstrate how lethal he is as a footballer. In the Bundesliga, he was just doing bits. Champions League doing bits. He's one of the most efficient players. He doesn't need to have the ball all the time. He picks his moments in the game. He picks his spots. He's a very clinical player, very thought process player. He thinks the game. He doesn't just go and tries to freestyle stuff. I love his patterns of play. I love the way he chooses his pockets of space and the way he sets up his shot, the way he sets up his assists. I feel like when you look at the game from an analytical standpoint, there's no way for someone to go and try and say that Olise isn't the best right winger, the best winger, or even the best player in the world. Like Kane scores more than him at his club, but Olise still went and is still considered as the best player. Like this just goes to show how much he's valued within Bayern Munich and how much he's valued by the football community. So let's take a deep dive into some of Olise's stats and some of his performances. So with 22 goals and 31 assists in 4,000 minutes, so he was decisive 100 every 183 minutes, which is normal that he has a drop off because he literally played 4,000 minutes, right? But when you look at it, 31 assists, 30, like just take it into perspective. 31 assists. I think this is the most assists a player has ever had to my knowledge. I remember Messi has had almost 28 or 29 assists in a season. I know Ozil has done it. Ozil has done it. Like 28, 29, I think almost 30. I think like players like KDB and Muller have capped off at like 25-ish assists in all comps. And just to look at these numbers, I feel like in terms of goals and assists, like football is not GA, right? This is something a lot of people have to understand, but he's so efficient and he's such a key player that you can't ignore these numbers. You just have to take it with a grain of salt. But even when you look at the eye test, he's one of the most appealing players to watch and he gets the job done. And I believe that if he plays a big role in France winning the World Cup, Olise, he might win the Ballon d'Or, but there's so much competition in the squad that I feel like the votes will get spread out. But other than that, I feel like his ascension has been something that I've looked at and I've appreciated and I've respected and it's inspired me in a way. And hopefully he could keep on progressing and reaching new heights because what he's doing is unbelievable. It's phenomenal and it's he's become undeniable as a footballer. So this season Bayern wasn't able to go and win the Champions League. And this goes back to my conversation that I think I've had in a couple videos prior to this. Sometimes the best player in the world isn't awarded to win the Ballon d'Or at the end of the season. Now, is Olise the best player in the world? I mean, if you watch the whole season and you watch all the clutch goals he's had, all the great performances, his consistency, his availability, the fact that he was one of the fittest players, that he played some of the most minutes, the fact that he was good on the ball, off the ball, that he had all this attention to detail. And when you look at the greater picture, that he's not just a player that hogs the ball, but he does the right play. If you're being intellectual and you're being honest, Olise is the best player in the world. Did he go the highest? No, but he has a chance with the World Cup to show how high he could go and how much talent he has. But hopefully for him, he's able to get the job done and he's able to show the world what a baller he is. And I think he's gonna get the job done. Maybe not win it, but surely he'll get the world to start looking at him in a different light. Possibly next year he gets his goal scoring output a bit higher and Bayern are able to get something because Vinny Company has really brought this player out of his shell. Him and his staff have done an amazing job with players like Luis Diaz, Olise. Like every single player at Bayern has been involved and are being used. Their whole squad, their setup. It's just something that's amazing to see and to be encouraged. I think Company he could easily win Coach of the Year even after Luis Enrique going back to back. But it was really up to certain details. The company was I think he was red carded. He missed one of the legs. It was just unlucky, but I know next year Bayern will come back as contenders for the Champions League. Them Arsenal and the PSG will be the three teams that are the most decisive and the most the highest in my power rankings next season. But hopefully for the World Cup, Olise is able to shine, and we hope that he stays healthy, and we wish him all the best for the World Cup. So, in my opinion, Olise might just help France and Mbappe get over the line and get back to their winning ways of winning the World Cup. They have one of the greatest squad depths in World Cup history. This might be one of the most talented squads a World Cup team has ever had. I think that Olise will be impactful this tournament. I think that if I were to bet anything, I'd bet for him to at least make it to quarterfinals. And like, because the World Cup is just, when it gets to knockout games, we can't really control what happens, but hopefully he gets the job done, and we wish him all the best. So thank you guys for watching this video. There's more to come, and stay safe and have a nice one.